Good afternoon. Welcome back. Oneida Nation Live here on our reservation in Wisconsin. Today is Tuesday, February 3rd, and we're going to have some long weeks until winter. According to the little rodent, Puxatawny Phil, he says 6 more weeks. However, in Oneida, it's rumored that he's seen his shadow and it's going to be just 4 weeks. So we'll see who's right. As I said, welcome back. And we're here today with some enlightenment about our new upcoming museum, some of the culture, history, something a little bit about our heritage. Our visitors today are Nick Metoxen, who's the Turtle Clan manager, and Courtney Jersatich, who is our registrar, and Stacy Coon, who is the director of the Oneida Nation Museum. So we're going to find out a little bit about when the opening is coming. We're getting closer to that date. But first, let's start out with Nick. How you doing, Nick?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Sagoli Sogwek, Lion Guilage, the Nian Gets and Guehone, Kali Nicholas Metoxen, Nian Gets, or Slunageha, Waganyata Niwagit the Lodo, Kali Onio Aga, Niwagada Hun Jod, Dahnu, don't go on and go, you had dog Nagel. So, hello everyone, my name is Lion Guilage, which in our Oneida language means he carries the arrows. Otherwise, my English name is Nicholas Metoxen. Those are the two families that come from Nicholases and Metoxens. So I am from the Turtle Clan, from right here in Oneida, specifically the place of the Bountiful Ducks. And I'm the Turtle Clan manager for Oneida Cultural Heritage. So that role, I provide supervision to our formerly Oneida Nation Museum, which we'll get into in a little bit, as well as the Oneida Nation Arts Program and the Tribal Historic Preservation Officer. My pleasure to be here today on this February 3rd, which is exactly 188 years from the day of the signing of the treaty with the Oneida. In 1838, we signed this treaty, which is the last treaty that we signed with the federal government, which established our current reservation boundaries here in Oneida, Wisconsin. This comes at a time when the federal government was doing a lot of treating with the Six Nations and the attempts to move the Six Nations to Kansas with the Buffalo Creek treaties, which there's a lot of awesome history on our webpage about as well. But less than 2 weeks after that is when this treaty with the Oneida was signed on February 3rd, establishing 100 acres per 654 Oneidas that were currently in this community at that time. And that's really what established our sovereignty. Our sovereignty in Wisconsin here is based on that treaty 188 years ago. And that established this area here, the Duluth-Gowanee community here, the place of the Bountiful Ducks, or the place of the Duck Creek. That's really the lifeline, this Duck Creek watershed that we have here in Oneida with all these connecting streams and everything. Those are the waters that allowed us to settle and thrive here as Oneida people. And those waters are precious to us. Those waters are mentioned in our Ohondu Galiwadekwa, our opening prayer every time we do that. It's one of those elements of creation that we acknowledge, and it's really what's allowed us to thrive here over the past couple hundred years as Oneida people, and really leads into part of our rebranding here of our museum expansion and relocation project here, and that is the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center, which means precious waters. And that name, Precious Waters, it refers to everything that we're talking about in this treaty and talking about in our existence here in the Oneida community, these precious waters that have carried us on to this day, that help us thrive, that provide resources and water to our fishing streams, and provide nourishment to our bodies, the land, and our medicines that grow here in this Duck Creek community. Because at the end of the day, that's why we chose this spot, because it reminds us of our homelands, and it reminds us that we're able to persist in our ways, which is really part of our mission here at Cultural Heritage, is connecting our people to Jitniunkwalihoda and our ways of being. You can't separate that from what we do, and everything that we do as a community here, every role and job and responsibility we have here in our Oneida Nation organization. So with that, to provide a little bit more information, in-depth knowledge, and some pretty exciting renderings of the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center is Stacy Coon, our director of the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center. as well as Dr. Courtney Grzetich, our registrar for the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center. So with that, I'll pass it to you two.
Yawʌn'kó, Nick. I'm Stacy Coon, Yawʌn'kó, the director of the current Oneida Nation Museum, soon to be Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo. I've provided some conceptual, so hopefully this will give a little bit more in-depth meaning into the reasoning for the change of the name and the new location. It's a lot to unpack. So I will start with the exterior of the building. So we are going from 1,500 square feet at the current museum with a capacity of only 25 and built in 1979 to a 21,000 square feet of space that can hold up to 458 people. So you're looking at the outside of the exterior right now. We incorporated a lot of design elements right away from our history and culture on the outside of the building, which you can see immediately as you enter the parking lot. These elements were also designed to be seen from the road. In addition, we also added some small details to give a nod to our wampum belts. So first off, right away, you're going to see a lot of stone. We are the Oneida, the people of the standing stone. So you're going to see a variation of stone and stone landscaping and stone elements throughout the front of the exterior of the building. You see the eagle. The eagle sits at the top of the great white pine to watch over us and warn us of any danger. This iconography gives a nod to the Great Law of Peace. The white pine tree, which comes from the Great Law and is the foundation of principles that the Haudenosaunee Confederacy was founded upon, and the idea that any nation could follow the roots to this tree and be welcome and sheltered, thus extending the Great Law to those that wish to be a part of those guiding principles. You're also going to see the copper tone at the entrance in front of the building. This acknowledges the indigenous peoples that inhabited these lands prior to our arrival in 1822, and they are known as the copper culture. The awning or the porte-cochere, under that awning you're going to see natural slatted wood, and that is an element that represents a time in our history when visitors or other nations came upon a Haudenosaunee village. The first thing they would see would be these large, huge vertical wood palisades protecting our villages and our people. We made the effort to carry this element into the building to further represent that as well. And also in the very back there, which everybody who drives by every morning, you see the large stone, 6 large stone blocks there and the 6 diamonds. So at the opening of this reflective garden, these elements of the diamonds that you see signify the elements that are seen on the original Oneida wampum belt and our Oneida logo, as well as acknowledging the 6 nations of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy. This is the reflective garden. The reflective garden in this area, it will allow us to provide outside programming, which could involve small performances, presentations, and outdoor markets. It's 9,000 square feet with 2,000 square feet of green space in the center for any performances that we choose to have. The reflective garden will give visitors a chance to sit out here and reflect or enjoy the weather, be outside in nature, or just if you want to center and refocus before you start your journey after leaving the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center. On the inside of these large stones, there will be 8 plaques, and these metal plaques will adorn the inside walls, and they're in honor, tribute, and reflection of those groups of individuals who helped make this community what it is today, as well as those yet to come and those that have passed on. So our mission at the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center is to preserve, protect, and strengthen the history, culture, and lifeways of the Oneida people. Our vision is to sustain the protection, care, and knowledge of the Oneida people's historical and contemporary material culture. So our mission and our vision is going to be what guides us, or what our purpose of this new facility is. As far as the current name, and as Nick and I have both mentioned, the word museum is a colonial term. There has been a movement to re-indigenize tribal museums and cultural centers and disassociate ourselves from that negative narrative between colonial institutions and indigenous peoples. So when the movement of this project started, that was one of the first things I wanted to change and sought the input of our cultural advisors. This is our people telling our stories while actively preserving and sharing our culture on our land. Thus the idea to change the name and the narrative. And to elaborate, through the course of working together on this relocation project that is several years in the making, an underlying theme revealed itself. Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo, precious water. Duck Creek was the core reason why our ancestors chose to settle here. There was an abundance of life already around the water, thus telling our ancestors that we too could have that same abundance. Water is our first environment inside of the womb of our mothers, our first protectors. Water is also a feminine element. We are a matrilineal society. We follow the clan of our mothers. Water was used by the great peacemaker at Onondaga Lake to spread peace throughout the Confederacy and is considered the birthplace of Haudenosaunee democracy. Water appears in our creation story, making it a foundational element in our Haudenosaunee cosmology and a primary element of this earth. Water represents life, renewal, and the interconnectedness of all living things. Our Thanksgiving address gives thanks to all of the waters, recognizing its power and importance. Water is used to create and form the quahog shell, which is used to create our sacred wampum. Wampum is used to create the tone inside of a water drum, which we use in ceremony for the songs that heal and give thanks. Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo, precious water. Now onto the logo. So this is the first draft of the new logo, the bone comb. The bone comb embodies the symbolisms one would find in Haudenosaunee culture and Oneida culture. Bone or antler was first used for utilitarian purposes, then used in forms of ornamentation, then art and expression to storytelling and healing. These are all elements that at some point or another will be conveyed inside of this space. The bone comb also represents the continuation and adaptation of our lives here in Wisconsin. So in taking a look at the logo, you have the three waves at the top, the Haudenosaunee symbol for water. The three waves also represent the three clans of the Oneida, the turtle, wolf, and bear. You see the 6 diamonds. These represent the 6 nations of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy, and the 6 diamonds you see on the Oneida belt, as well as our Oneida logo. There are 22 teeth at the bottom of the bone comb, and this signifies the year 1822, the year that we began to relocate to Wisconsin from our homelands in New York. Here's another variation of the use and the logo of the new name. So just to kind of start and elaborate on how we started the task of telling our stories. Our interpretive priorities articulated the vision and the visitor experience and guide the development of the storyline and the design. So the following priorities have emerged as a part of this process. One of the very first things that we wanted to do was we wanted to present a modern interpretation of Oneida culture and history by combining the 7 core values with up-to-date technologies. We also wanted to appeal to kids and adults with engaging, hands-on, and interactive experiences that bring connection and joy. We also wanted to re-indigenize the museum. This must be seen as a tribal space and not as a colonial space, thus another reason for the name change. We also wanted to strengthen and reinforce the connection to the land, community, and the 7 generations. In addition to that, we wanted to create a positive and empowering visitor experience where visitors can learn from the good mind and the great law of peace. And most importantly, we wanted engagement with the community to express the stories being told. So in essence, we wanted to inspire pride, raise awareness, dispel stereotypes, increase visitor and community access, and inspire visitors and our community to want to come back and learn more. So with that being said, I will share some of the conceptuals of the inside of the Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center. Again, this is 21,000 square feet of space with a visitor capacity of 458 people. What you're looking at now is the interior lobby or reception area. This will allow us better organization and visitor flow into the gallery space and other areas of the cultural center, such as the multi-purpose room, the temporary gallery, and the gift shop space. Again, the wood slat design represents palisades that surrounded our villages long ago and what visitors saw upon first entering our world, so to speak. Hypothetically, these palisades also provide protection, as the real palisades did of our culture. This facility will represent the backdrop of who we are as Oneida people and the diverse backgrounds of visitors we will be sharing our culture with, just as we have done at the current museum for over 40 years. This is a conceptual of the gift shop interior. It's around 600 square feet, so as you can see, we will have a more expanded space for the gift shop, and we have a capacity of about 35 to 40 versus the 2 to 3 that you're getting at the current, at the current museum. The multi-purpose room, or the storyteller's room, this is 800 square feet. We are going to have the ability to hold presentations, visiting speakers, classes, workshops, and other extended programming in this space, and our capacity is around 50 people. And I also want to mention that due to the protection of our one-of-a-kind collection, this will be the only place where food is allowed in the building. And another reason why we also do not have a kitchen in this building, because of the potential for bugs and rodents, and those are considered threats to our collection. This is a 1,400 square foot temporary gallery space, and this could be used for traveling exhibits or space to have holiday markets such as the O&M pop-ups that we've been currently having at the current space. And I just want to add that this space, along with the multi-purpose room, was what members of the community asked for since doing those community surveys in the 1990s. So Yawʌʻkó to anybody who submitted those surveys. What you are seeing right now is a snapshot of our permanent gallery space, which is 1,500 square feet, along with the overall floor plan layout. Now, please keep in mind that we can't show you everything in this presentation because we want to keep some surprises for the opening. But I can tell you that each section of the permanent exhibit gallery is focused on 4 major themes. And those 4 major themes are our stories, our values, our culture, and sovereignty. And you can see that in the conceptual there. This is a conceptual of the entrance to the gallery space. So the permanent gallery space, like I said, is around 1,500 square feet. We have a capacity of 233 people versus the current capacity of the current museum is only about 15, 20 people. So this is the entrance to the exhibits, where you will have 3 corridors to choose from. There's no certain area that you can go to first. It's basically we're giving the visitors the option to go in, any corridor that they want to explore. In the back there, that will be an impact wall, which will be large-scale visuals containing both different depths of Oneida culture, from art forms to history to community images. We will have a veterans exhibit. In this area, we'll house objects and uniforms from the collection and items that were gifted to the museum that relate to our Oneida veterans. There will also be a kiosk that will house any digital veteran photos or interviews done in the past, any medal information, or any other information related to the veterans and their military service. We will also have an area where we will highlight and showcase Oneida athleticism, sports talent, as well as Oneida history from the past to the present. This exhibit area will highlight the roles, responsibilities, and matrilineal nature of our clan system and traditional government, as well as other aspects of our culture. This area, which is our language and reading area, will be a space where any audio or visual content, anything related to Oneida history, stories, language, and culture can be viewed. Examples where this could be is the WPA stories, language and other audio video components, any elder interviews. I also wanted to mention that there will be opportunities to volunteer at the Cultural Center, in addition to giving any youth opportunities as well as community members to participate in whatever capacity that may be at the new Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center. We already have that implemented in the current museum, so we'll just be moving that over to the new Cultural Center. And if you wanted to volunteer, I can give you the number before I forget. It's 920-869-2768. If you want to call, we can start a list. If you're thinking about volunteering, maybe want to wait or just think about it, you can go ahead and give us a call at the current museum. That's the general number. And we will also be following HRD policies with background checks and so forth. So this is the organizational project chart that we have been working off of. Right now we are in the installation phase. I have the red arrow at the bottom there, since starting all of this in 2023. So in this installation phase, we have the installation of the exhibits as well as the interior and exterior build, which has started, as you can see from the road, from outside. But the exhibit fabrication as well as other components of the build is on target. Our museum gift shop is still open at the current site. Museum staff has begun the preparation of packing up what will be needed in terms of office needs for the new location as we prepare for a June opening, with more details to come. With that being said, I will hand it over to Dr. Grzetich. Talk about the collections.
All right, thank you very much. So I work with the collections directly, and if you were seeing this slide that says collections at the top, you see a large room in the back that's orange. That is going to house our entire collections. And this is so wonderful because this will be the very first time all of the collections will be under one roof. Since I started actually as an intern, a student intern in 2005 with the museum, thanks to Dr. Carol, Loretta Matoxin, and Rita Lara for giving me a chance, I have never been in one building working with the museum. I've always been between at least two buildings working with the collections. So now one of our main goals with the collections is that we're going to have full transparency so that anybody can see what we do with the collections, how we preserve them, and even get to see from the exhibit area myself, as well as our museum specialist, Hattie Broughton, working hard at preserving those collections. We have roughly, it's over 2,000 three-dimensional objects, and these are just catalog records that we have. So some of them might be pairs like moccasins or leggings. So there's more numbers than just 2,000, but we have over 2,000 records for three-dimensional objects. That takes up a lot of space, and I am so fortunate to work in this position because not very many Native women and Natives get to work in a museum that has what is going to be high-tech stuff for preserving the collections. So we're going to have compact shelving for these collections. We've grown for 40 years now, and we want to grow for another 40 years. So we took into account what space we would need to grow the collection even more. We have over 65,000 photographs. Hattie's working really hard at digitizing every single one of those photographs so that you can have access to them just on our cataloging system coming to the museum, and we can preserve them for hundreds of years. And we're working on a very large archival collection, which has correspondence, legislature, compacts that we might have. We just last week got 2 of the very first lottery tickets Oneida sold back in 1988 from a gentleman. It's going to be phenomenal, and you'll be able to see all of that. And we're constantly growing what we consider our major acquisitions. We're so grateful to the individuals who have collected things their entire lives and thought of us to preserve them for hundreds of years to come. And you can see the list of some of our major collections. One of the very first collections we got was the Florence Jones. She worked at the museum as well and did a lot of revitalizing certain crafts, especially leather work, and She worked with a lot of velour tour, not traditional velour, but definitely gave us patterns and ideas. We have the David Bartholomew collection. He was a amateur historian, I would say, but he had one of the largest Haudenosaunee collections privately ever held by an individual, and he gifted it to the Oneida Nation Museum. We, of course, bought the turtle collection from the Turtle Museum in 1995. That doubled the museum collection overnight. And then we have important collections like the Bob Bennett collection. I was working on the Bob Bennett collection, who was head of the BIA at one point when I was pregnant, so I named my son Bennett. Shout out to little B, Mr. B. And we also have some new ones coming in from people who have been essential in land claims cases, like Jack Campisi and Lawrence Houtman. They have been, they have decided that they wanted Oneida to have the control over their own information and over all of the documents that they used to be expert witnesses. So we really appreciate that. And we have, on the next slide, a very large table, because not everything is going to be able to be displayed at one time. We just have too much stuff to display all at one time. So we'll have a 9-foot long table in the permanent gallery, and it's going to rotate collections. So every few years we're going to change out different items so you can see what we have and we can talk about new artists. Right now it's set up based on art forms. So we'll have pottery, baskets. There's a separate place for baskets, but you'll see baskets, silverwork, lacework, corn husk dolls, and I think that is it. So you'll get a good sense of all of the beautiful art forms and traditional art forms and how they have evolved over the years with that rotating collection. So we're very excited to finally showcase the invaluable material culture that Oneida has.
That is one of the most exciting things that's going to happen here in Oneida, Wisconsin this summer. Our own people telling our own story. It's been a long time coming. I wonder, 188 years ago today, when we think about those treaties that were established, when we think about our ancestors, our leaders, our visionaries at that time, would they have ever imagined that they were building our history, that they were leaving the legacy that we have here today? So, got a couple questions, not too much. Will there be a charge to the entry to the museum?
For tribal members, there will be no charge. For other non-tribal members, there will be a charge. Basically, all of those elements that we follow at the current museum will just move over to the new cultural center.
How about an online gift shop? Are we working on getting an online gift shop?
We are. And fortunately, we're trying to open the new Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center, so we had to put that a little bit on the back burner until we get this open, but that is something that is on the radar of DTS and the powers that be. So yes, we are definitely going to be looking at that as well.
All right, well, we have people who watch from all over our country. We have people today from Indianapolis, from Madison. They're always tuning in to see what's new, and that is a question that comes up frequently,
Good to know.
that online gift shop. Well, Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo is just a few months away from opening those doors, and I know Stacy, you and Courtney and Nicholas have been working hard and planning to make this the event of the year. And, you know, in our office, we said June is going to be a busy month.
Yes.
So watch for that opening. Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo. Say it from the back. Gah-No-Loo. And then add the front. Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo. Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo. If you break it up, pretty soon it starts to flow a little easier. I know that's one way of learning our language, is to kind of break it up, and then,
Practice, yep.
you know, it'll all flow out. Very interesting, Courtney, talk about Lotto Oneida and the Big Green Lottery.
Yes.
I believe I may still have my lottery ticket. They gave us a little framed lottery ticket back when we opened up that initiative. We were making quite a bit of money, and I can't remember why we stopped. It probably had to do with legalities and dealing with our local law enforcement or something, our courts.
What's cool about the lottery ticket is Oneida started a lottery before the state of Wisconsin.
Lot Oneida.
Yep.
All right, and they are looking for volunteers, so if this is something that is, you really interested in learning more about, embracing, participating, I'm going to give you that number again, 920-869-2768. And even though it's a volunteer position, it'll be treated much like an employee where you will have to go through application and a background check. Oh, let's see. I don't see any other questions, so I do have a few announcements to remind people that there will be a community meeting Thursday, February 12th from 5 to 7 in the Norbert Hill Center cafeteria. There will be a dinner served at 5 and a presentation of the economic impact study by the doctor that oversaw the study. And if you remember last week, we just had a large press event announcing the results of our economic impact study and the news that the Oneida Nation has $1 billion economic impact in our area. Also, Oneida Nation Weekly Job Highlights is in the nursing area. There's some positions open for a registered nurse, a certified nursing assistant, a clinical informatics nurse, a licensed practical nurse, and you can apply at oneidanation.org/jobs. Also, Saturday, February 14th, bring your sweetheart to the Three Clans Ballroom for the Oneida Nation Winter Gathering Powwow at the Oneida Casino Hotel. So that's Saturday, February 14th, Oneida Casino Hotel in the Three Clans Ballroom. Free admission, grand entry at 1 and 7 p.m. We also don't want to forget our Oneida-Gah-No-Loo project community meetings next Tuesday, February 10th, and that will be on Microsoft Teams. That will be a virtual meeting from 6 to 8 p.m. And of course, at the end, we always show you the link to our newsletter, so you can always sign up. We got more people signing up and interested in that. We appreciate that interest. I don't see any further questions. Is there anything we forgot? Nick?
No, I just want to, just thank you for having us, and I also want to just say how thankful I am for the support that the community has given us. With this relocation and expansion, it's going to allow us so much more space for collaborations, and really bringing us up to the new industry standard is going to, strengthen our ability to have collaborations with other large organizations and other tribal cultural centers, across Turtle Island. So that's so exciting, and I just also want to take the moment to really applaud our two museum staff here for all of their work in making this happen. It's been a long time coming. So huge applause to these two, as well as our other museum staff back at the museum, Hattie Broughton, the museum specialist, Nathaniel Gerhardt, the educator, Susan Peterson, the administrative assistant, and Edmund Black Thunder, the gift shop coordinator. This project is not possible without this amazing museum team that we have here. We're really honored to have such a strong, educated, resourceful team here that's really making all this possible. It's not possible without the hard work for these people that we have here. We have the honor of working with. So I just wanted to take that moment to applaud their work. And if I could also shamelessly plug, Friday we have our conference tournament for the Oneida Nation wrestling team. We're sending two of our varsity warriors, Johun Big Mountain and Yawʌßkó Cornelius, to compete in Lena this Friday. So hopefully we can get some people supporting our Thunderhawks wrestling program too. So that's my shameless plug there for that as well.
Take pride in it. And their names again?
Ozagwalha Cornelius is our boys varsity wrestler, and Jahun Jawan Big Mountain is our
Alright.
girls varsity wrestler. That's our Oneida Nation Thunderhawks for this year.
All right, awesome news, awesome plug. All right, Courtney, anything that we want to remember?
I don't think
No?
so. I am good.
Stacy?
I just want to give a shout out to the entire community, the staff at Cultural Heritage. We have a lot of resources that we had to reach out to departments as well within the nation. So it takes a community to make something like this happen. So I really want to say Yawʌक़ó to all those individuals that had some part in seeing this project move forward. Because it couldn't have been done without you, without the community, without the nation. We wouldn't have a Gah-Nay-Gah-No-Loo Cultural Center. So I'm happy to be a part of this and have the lead on this, but I'm also very appreciative and grateful and thankful for individuals such as Nick, the Cultural Heritage staff, and the entire Oneida community for allowing this project to move forward, and Yawʌक़ó, Bobby, for having us on.
It's our
Yeah.
pleasure. It's always our pleasure to have. The more that we can keep our community informed about what's going on, every day they drive by there. When is it going to open? When is it going to open? Well, now you can say it's going to open in June, and we're working hard to narrow that down to a date.
And we'll be back.
And they'll
in
be
the
back.
near future to talk about some of those grand opening festivities and activities that are going to go on. So we will be back with more of that information.
All right, we'll
in the
have
near
them
future.
back before it opens, so hopefully early June, and then we'll see where we go from there. Appreciate it so much.
Yawʌक़ó.
Have a great week, and we'll see you on Thursday. Nungiwa.
Kuriwa.
Nungiwa.